What's going on? What is going on, Rockstars? I am super excited here today. It is Monday, fresh new week, and I cannot wait to paint this with you guys. I haven't been talking all day, so like my mouth's still trying to catch up with my brain. So I hope you guys are having a great start of the week. I'm here at the studio already. I'm getting ready to paint this 3D wood cutout, which is, oh wait, my lighting is already, 1 second, you guys, my lighting is too bright. Let me fix my lighting. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. Oh my goodness. So I'm painting this 3D wood cutout. It's Jack and Sally. Now we've had very successful Jack and Sally classes here at the studio on canvas. We've never painted anything on wood related to Jack and Sally, so I thought I would try it and offer something different to our audience because every time we host a Jack and Sally, it's a couples paint night. It's the two canvases that come together. We always sell out. That's like one of the most popular classes here. Okay, I think the lighting is better now. And so I thought I would do switch it up a little bit. So if you guys have been to one of our Jack and Sally classes, so this would be something to switch it up a little bit. It is similar, but it's on wood and it's only one piece. It's not two of them. So this can be painted by couples or it could be painted by single people. And so what it is these are 3D wood cutouts. Check it out. So the actual figurines are 3D and they come off. They're pretty thick, as you guys can see. And we also have the font. The letters are also attachable, so you will have to attach these. So I have my paint here ready for this design, and we're gonna keep it super sweet and simple. And I also have my hot glue gun that I'm gonna use to glue my Jack and Sally onto the wood. The wood panel itself, it's also pretty thick. I will show you. It is this thick. The board itself is 12 by 12, so it's a really good size. It's not too huge. It is just perfect to hang anywhere, right? Okay, you guys, so without further ado, thank you guys for joining. As you join, go ahead and tell me where you're from, where you're watching from, and go ahead and say hello. And let me know, type yes if you are a Jack and Sally fan. And let me know how many times you've watched it, if you can remember. Okay, so I'm just having a drink of my favorite energy drink that I just found. I'm not being sponsored. I'm just sharing with you guys. It gives me really good energy. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get started. Roll up my sleeves, and I also just want to make sure that I am um, keeping track of the comments so I don't ignore you guys because I like to talk to you as I do this, right? So let me know if the lighting is too bright or if it's just perfect. Let me know if you can hear me too because my microphone was messing up a little bit ago. So let me know if you can hear me, okay? All right, you guys, let's go ahead and set everything off to the side. So I'm gonna set my Jack and Sally and my letters off to this corner right here so I can start painting on the wood. So now you can't really see, but I already have the circle sketched. I did it with one of those, I don't know what they're called, those little things. And so that's already done. So it's going to be a huge moon. It's a full moon right here. And then on the outside, we are going to have the night sky. Okay. And like I said, we're going to keep it as simple as possible, but it's going to be real cute. Okay. So we're going to putting our brushes in the water, making sure that our brushes are nice and wet, ready for the paint, and take them back out. I always like to keep my brushes out of the water, you guys, because if you have the kind of brushes that are wood The handle part is wooden and it's painted. After you leave your brushes in the water for a long time, the wood, I mean, the paint starts to chip off the wood part. So you end up with a bunch of wood on your, I mean, a bunch of chips on your creation. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I have white, deep yellow, phthalo blue, a light purple, and a black. So very simple colors, but this is going to be a really cute painting, okay? So the first thing we're going to want to do is, let's go ahead and give our moon one full coat of white, starting from the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep my strokes as circular as possible, okay? This is going to give us that look we want to achieve when looking at our moon. And I'm just going to hold it so it's easier for you guys to see. Bring my paint on this side. And what I'm just simply, every time you work on wood, the wood tends to soak up the paint super quick. So what I find that helps is just very lightly dipping your brush on the water. That way your acrylic doesn't dry up real quickly on you, right? So, and it also helps you spread it out a little more smooth. All right, so I'm just grabbing a little more white and a little bit of water, both at the same time. And I'm just gonna go all the way around, being really careful to stay inside of the pencil line, okay? But yes, you guys, let me know if you are a Jack and Sally fan, because if you're now just tuning in, we are painting a Jack and Sally 3D wood cutout. So now what 3D means is just some of the parts on our painting are off the canvas. So they come off the canvas, and that's what makes them 3D. And it just gives it like this extra cool look, right? All right, so there is my one layer of white on my moon, keeping my strokes very circular, okay? And then what I'm gonna do next is, wow, this is heavy. I might need to grab an easel. So I'm just gonna grab my yellow, okay? Now this yellow, I'm going to start off on the edges, just like this. Grab a little bit more. Making sure that I get this yellow as close to the edge as possible, okay? I'm gonna go all the way around. Oops, I grabbed white in accident. I'm gonna go all the way around, making sure that I get all the way to the edge of my moon. Grab a little more yellow, make my way all the way around, making sure I get all the way to the edge of my moon. Once I have done that, once I reach the edge of my moon, it's a little too bright, right? The lights are a little bit too bright. Let me see. Let me turn down this ring light. Maybe you guys can see it better. Is that better? A little bit, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm not gonna clean my brush or anything. It still has a little bit of yellow on there. I'm going to start making my way inside of my moon, but without grabbing any more yellow. Just whatever I had left on there, I'm just gonna bring it inside, keeping my strokes as circular as I can. And then I'm gonna make my way back out so I can just blend back and forth. Okay, blend back and forth, blend back and forth. Now, if you are watching this and you are in Paint Party Rockstar and you're a Paint Party instructor, what I recommend is sometimes if you want to give one layer of white and let it dry, you can paint the entire thing one layer of white just to kind of like coat it, to give it like a primer, right? I am gonna grab an easel because it's getting really heavy on my hand. It's not as light as a canvas. So I'm just gonna set it on this cute little easel. And then, but yes, so you could do is add one layer of white if you wanted to, but that's just optional, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just now going to clean my brush in the water. Now that I have this, wait, what is this? It's like a eraser thingy. I'm gonna rinse my brush in the water and I'm gonna grab just white now, just white. And I'm going to focus this white on the center of my moon so that the center of my moon is going to be a lot brighter. Maybe grab a little bit more. This way, the center of my moon is going to be a lot brighter than the outer parts of my moon. And it's just going to give us like a, almost like a 3D feel, like a 3D look, right? Add a little bit more. I'm just adding white, no yellow anymore. The yellow was only on the outer parts. And now we're concentrating this white on the center of the moon. And slightly we take it outwards. We do want to blend it into the yellow, you guys, and we blend it by just going back and forth in the same area in circular motion. We want to blend it because we don't want to have lines in between your colors, right? You want to have a nice gradient as you move outwards, and you want your color to transition from one color to the other, all right? So if you're now tuning in, you guys, welcome. Let me know where you're watching from. And this is Julian with Gallery 2910. And if you're watching on the Paint Party Rockstar page, go ahead and say hello. And if you're watching here in Michiana, we are in Indiana, go ahead and say hello too. If you've been to our Jack and Sally paint parties, go ahead and say, hey, I've been to it. And if you want to come and paint this one, this is slightly different. It's a 3D wood cutout, okay? So that's what we're painting today. Now that we have our sky, our moon like this, now we're gonna paint our sky. All right. So now for the sky, I have this phthalo blue and a purple that I think the purple I want to mix it in there, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that yet. So I'm going to just kind of like play by ear. So I'm gonna grab this blue with the brush. My big brush is now clean. So I'm gonna grab this phthalo blue, which is basically just a dark blue, right? And I'm gonna come here and bring it close to my moon, being real careful not to go into the yellow, okay? Because otherwise it's gonna turn green, which is fine. It'll turn into like a teal. If you go in accident, you can just kind of like keep it. But for what we're doing tonight, we're just gonna keep it as blue as we can. Okay, so here I'm gonna go right next to the yellow line all the way around, being really careful. And notice how I'm doing one streak, only one stroke when I'm cutting out this circle line, because that will give you sharper lines than if you were doing little strokes like this. You want to just place your brush down, get closer to the line you're trying to cut, and then just let your brush do the job. You just kind of drag it and sweep it around, okay? Just like that. I'm going to go right up here. And you know what? I'm going to flip it upside down because I cannot really reach that area. So I'm just going to flip it upside down so I can reach it. And then I'm going to take it again. I'm just going to go real carefully, real slowly, all the way around. All right. I'm going to wipe off the brush. And this is where I'm going to introduce my purple just for the heck of it, just to make it fun. And then this purple, I'm going to grab small amounts only a little amount. And then what I want to do is I'm going to grab it just right on the line that I just created. I guess it's not a line, it's just like a big streak, right? But right over it is where I'm gonna apply this light purple. And what it's doing is it's just taking our dark blue, our phthalo blue, is just taking it down a notch. And it's making it a little lighter. But I didn't want to add white because white would have just made it look like, I don't know, like snow, I guess. I just wanted it to be a little more interesting. Since we're not going to add too much color to it, I just want it to be a little more interesting with the purple, right? So being real careful, going back and forth and around. Every so often you can clean your brush so you can go back to sharp. This brush can do real sharp strokes, but it has to be real clean. If your paint starts to blob up and it starts to gunk up, your strokes are going to become real thick. And especially right now, we want our strokes to be thin because we're cutting this line around the moon, right? What was that? Now you can keep this painting a lot simpler if you just want to do one simple line around your moon. You don't have to do what I'm doing. I just always like to give the option to keep it like difficulty level, right? If you think this blending is too much, just don't even add this purple. Oops, I went into my moon a little bit on there. Any little oopsies you make, you can always fix up, right? Like don't be too hard on yourself. Just kind of go with it. You can always fix them up at the end as you go. Okay, so that gives me a nice aura. I like to call it an aura around my moon. Now the rest, I'm going to dip it just with blue, and then I'm going to slightly go into the ring, the outer aura that I just created. I'm just going to slightly go into it so my two colors blend. Again, I don't want to see sharp lines in between. And you want a nice transitioning in between your two colors. And you do that, you achieve that by going back and forth like I am right now. You see this? How my colors are almost becoming a gradient. It's not like light blue and then sharp dark blue. It's like a nice transition in between, right? And you achieve that by just going back and forth on both sides. So your brush has to be, half of your brush has to be on the light blue and the other half of the brush has to be on the wooden unpainted part, which will become the darker. And might as well paint the little outer parts of your wooden part, just like we do with the canvas, right? Just like this. And I have a very nice transition right there. I'm very happy with that. And then I'm going to make my way around my moon doing the same thing. Now, wood does dry real quick. And if by the time you're making your way around, your light blue dried up, just bring in a little bit of water, okay? Bring in a little bit of water because both of your colors need to be wet in order for you to make that transition that I was just talking to you about. So I'm just going to dip my brush real lightly onto my water. Make sure you're not dripping down. And then just go work that area back and forth so that we don't see a line in between. So what I'm doing is I'm just applying a good amount of pressure to that line so that it disappears. You see how it's disappearing now? It's almost gone now, okay? Then we're gonna do the same thing all the way around. Part of my brush is gonna be on the light blue and the other part of the brush is gonna be on the unpainted wood area. And that's how we get the nice blending, all right? And I'm gonna flip this around so I can access that. Same thing, I'm just going over and over. I went a little extra here with the blue, a little too in, but it's okay. And then I'm gonna grab a little bit of water so I can touch that back up. Because you see how we have this line, how we see this line real sharp in between. I mean, it's actually a little bit blended right now, but I want to blend it even more. It's right, it goes right, light blue, right sharp to dark blue. And then you see how over here we don't really see that line. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to make this line right here disappear. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of water and I'm just going back and forth. My brush is both on the light blue and on the dark blue. And I'm applying a good amount of pressure. And just by going back and forth, you can see how that line begins to disappear. It just vanishes, right? And that gives us a nice smooth transition. All right, so we're gonna take that transition all the way around. Make sure you have it. You see how we can still see it right here, that line? I'm just gonna take it and just go back and forth, put a good amount of pressure on your brush, and you will see how that line disappears like magic, right? Bam, there you go. All right, so now that we did the blending, now we can just easily go and finish our corners with the blue all the way around, right? Just like so. Now, since our Jack and Sally's are going to be like a shadow. So our Jack and Sally are going to be black. So since they're going to be black, we want to make sure that we give our sky like a good focus, right? Because we want to make it look interesting so it's not such a boring painting. So that's why I'm having you do this. All right? So we're going to go all the way around the corners, just like so. You guys, I honestly cannot wait to teach this class in person because, like I said, we've had. Oh no, I grabbed purple in accident. That's not gonna be cool. Let me wipe it off. We've taught a lot of Jack and Sally couples nights, and they have been so successful. So now I'm excited to see the response that our local audience is gonna have for this particular wooden 3D. And as soon as I am done with this, you guys, I will be, let me know if you're in Michiana and you would like to come to this class. Let me know in the comments and I will make sure to send you the direct link once this painting is done and upload it to the schedule, okay? So that you won't miss it. So comment on this video, comment link, and I will send you the link as soon as I am done. Just type the word link, and as soon as I finish making this painting and I make the flyer and everything, I will make sure to send you that link, okay? All right, you guys, so look at how cool our background is looking. So that's gonna be our sky. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab just a small amount of black. Look how small, just a little bit of black on the corner of my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it right on the corners just to give it like a focal point, right? I forget what that's called. It has a name, but I forgot. Okay, so I'm just going to add it right on the corners. You've got to be real careful with this part because your Jack and Sally are going to be black. So you don't want to add too much black, otherwise your Jack and Sally are going to disappear. They're going to blend in with the black and you won't be able to see much, right? So take it easy on the black. You just want a little bit on the corners just to give your painting a nice focal point. Just like this. You guys, if you're a Paint Party Rockstar member, you could do these and put them on Etsy too. Like you can, because this thing is so popular. It's almost like a cult. This thing is so popular that you can make them and paint them for sale. You know what I mean? These are so popular. Okay, and then if you're a Paint Party Rockstar member, once I'm done with this painting, you will be able to use the photo that I make. That I'm gonna take a picture, a nice picture that you can use, and a flyer. I'm also gonna make a flyer, so you'll be able to use those if you're a member of the Paint Party Rockstar membership, right? Okay, you guys, it's looking really pretty. It's looking really pretty. I really like it. And so now what I want to do is I think I want to add a little more white, like maybe some white highlights to the center of the moon. Just some white highlights. Just like this. I think I still have blue in this brush, so I need to wipe it off. All right, so I'm adding just white to the center of my moon just to make her a little more interesting, right? Just some highlights. Just like that. All right, cool. So then next, I'm going to put away my background, okay? And then what I want to do next is I'm gonna paint Jack and Sally. So Jack and Sally are gonna be there since they're in front of the moon. They're just shadows, right? They just create a shadow. I kind of drew a little bit on them, and I was initially thinking about making this is like actually you can see the drawings on them, but I think that it'll be um, a lot more impactful, I guess, because the less simpler is better. You know, the less the better. So it's more. It'll look more elegant if we just have the shadows that are black on them. So I might paint them later. Maybe I make another one and paint it with the actual cartoon on them. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my Jack and Sally and paint them black. Okay. So I'm gonna grab my big brush and I am gonna cover the entire thing black. Now, if my sky, what I'm gonna do with my sky, I'm gonna add some white stars so that it's not so dark, and it's gonna lighten up the sky so that this black figurines on top of the sky will not get lost, right? Because otherwise, if that blue is too dark, then our Jack and Sally will not really show. So I'm even gonna just consider making it a little bit lighter by adding some purple strokes right over it. Who knows? We'll see. But I want it to dry just for now. We'll put it away and then just work on our Jack and Sally. Yeah, because look, you can still see him, but because they're gonna be right on the yellow mostly. But I don't want him to get lost at all, right? That would not be good. So when you're doing these figurines, you guys, you also want to paint the sides because since they're 3D, they come off the canvas, they come off the wood part, and you will be able to see the inside and the sides. So you want to make sure that everything is nicely painted. Now, also, if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I want to make it, but I really don't have time, and you are here in the Michiana area, you're local, and you want to just come and pick one up, it's already been painted, just let me know and I'll make you one, you know? Because I know a lot of people are, you know, they wish they could come and do a class, or for one reason or another, you know, so much thing going on. You can't make it. I can paint one for you, okay? So just let me know, put in your orders. If you would like one of this kit, one of these 3D artworks, and you are in South Bend or in Mishawaka or here in the area, type in order in this video and type the word order, and I will make sure to reach out and make you one. There's also different sizes. This size is 12 by 12, which I thought was pretty. It's a pretty good size for a class because we don't want it too big. Otherwise, the class would take forever. But this is pretty good. This is a good size. Okay, and there is Jack. We're just gonna put him off to the side. Then we're gonna do Sally, cute little Sally. And we're gonna finish painting the entire thing, okay, you guys? So today I'm having Monday, after school Monday art camp. And I'm excited. We are doing all things fall. One of my favorite seasons, you guys. And after I get done with this video, I am going to go ahead and set up for the art camp. Pretty excited. I love creating with the kids. Alright, you guys, this is looking really good. You know what? I do think I want the flower red. So I'm going to keep the flower red now that I look at it. Just the flower. The stem's going to stay black. I think it'll be a good pop, you know, because if I make the flower black, it's just like a black rose. It's kind of weird, right? But if I make a red, it's just going to pop. You know what I mean? So that'll be cool. Again, you want to make sure you paint all the sides because these figurines you can see them from the sides, you know what I mean? So you want to make sure they're nicely painted all throughout. And this is going to be a messy activity, as you can see. My hands are already covered, but it's very worth it and very fun. Like I'm having a blast. I don't know if you can tell. Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. So I'm getting closer to my rose. Now the rose, like I said, I am going to make it red. So I'm not going to paint it. I'm actually going to paint it white here in a minute so that the red really pops. That's what I was telling you earlier. Since this design doesn't require bright colors, maybe the moon could have gotten a little bit of a primer so that that yellow would pop. But that's what I was telling you earlier. If you want to, you can add a white primer, let it dry, and then apply your bright colors over it so that because the wood is, it's just darker. So some brighter colors, like the bright acrylics, will be darkened down because of the wood color. So here I have my baby wipes, my magic erasers. I'm just gonna wipe off my brush because this got messy. All right. All right, all right, all right. So then I am going to paint the flower. I'm gonna paint it white, let it dry, and then later on I'm gonna make it red, okay? Very pretty, you guys, super pretty. All right, so put this off to the side. We're gonna put her off to the side. And then I'm going to paint the letters. What color should I paint the letters? I think the letters, I'm just gonna keep them white. I'm gonna go get some white, you guys. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I should have just gotten the white when I came because I know white always runs out. Always runs out. Okay, so here's my white. So I just poured a little bit because I don't need that much, And all right, so I'm going to wipe off my. I always like to wipe off my brush on the napkin before I dip it in the water. This way, my water doesn't get dirty right away. And then I'll have to go and get more water, rinse the cup, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so then we have the letters, the font, and I'm just gonna use the big brush again. And white, just to paint them real quick, right? Make sure you paint all the sides, around, and on top. You would think that this design, it's fast, because it's a 12 by 12. But because you have to like go in and paint everything around and inside, it does take a little bit. The 3D projects do take a little longer. So that's why I chose a 12 by 12. So I'm just going to set it right here on the table. You guys might not be able to see it, but I'm still painting the words. This one it says meant. The whole thing says meant to be. And you got to be real careful when you do the font because it might break on you, right? So there's that one. Then I'm going to do simply. Just like this. You could also skip the words if you don't want them. You could just leave them off. Some people don't like wordings on their artwork. I think I'm one of them. I don't like to put words on my artwork. Some people like to do the stencils. I think words are tacky on my house. I don't know about you. That's why I don't make any artwork with font. Sometimes, like home or something like that, it's like on the porch leaners. I think that's okay. But like inside of my house, I don't think I like a lot of wording. I feel like it's a classroom or something. You know, like classrooms have all kinds of like wordings. Oh no, it fell into the purple. We're just gonna go with it. And then we're gonna do the word be, which is right here. And then we're gonna do the word to be, meant to be. Paint the sides. Okay, now that everything's painted, I'm going to wipe off my fingertips one more time because it's getting really messy. And then rinse all my brushes. Make sure they're nice and clean. And now I'm gonna go back here and I'm going to come back to my painting, to my background, and just analyze it. And then I'm gonna try and like hold Jack right in front of it just to see how I like it, see if it's too dark. What do you guys think? It might be too dark here at the bottom right, but since he's gonna be right on the moon, it's no big deal. What I do want to do though, I want to just bring in some highlights around my moon. So I'm gonna do that with white. Should I do purple? What should I do? Let's do just white for now. I think if I do purple, some men might get turned off. I love purple, but you know how some men are. Okay, so we're just gonna go right. Make sure you don't have a lot of paint on your brush for this step, okay? So just wipe some off on the edge of your plate. And we're just gonna go, they're like kind of dashes. They're like long dashes. Just around the moon. And make sure you keep them circular. As circular as you can. Just around the moon. All right. This one right here is a little sharp. I'm going to just make it a little more roundy. I'm going to try that purple, see how it happens. You might not even be able to see it. All right, it's pretty good. All right, you guys. And then what I want to do is I'm going to make some, I'm going to lay this flat. And I'm just going to splatter a little bit of white on the darker areas of my sky. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Right there. Right there. Okay. So I'm just going to grab a little bit. I'm going to dip my brush in the water. And then I'm going to come into my white just so I can create kind of like a little puddle of white. A little more. Okay. So once you have like a little puddle, like a watery white, I'm going to go in, create some little, like small little stars. This will lighten up the sky so it's not so dark. It's gonna need a little bit more water. And what I'm doing is I'm just flickering the paint off my brush. So I'm just going up high and then just flickering the bristles so that you guys might not be able to see this on the camera, but I'll show you here in a minute, okay? And then you can go up high for little ones, and you can go real close to make big ones. To make so that the when it hits the wood, they'll be bigger. Just like this. So make a bunch of them. That way your sky will not be too dark, okay? This is always fun. I love doing this style of stars. And the harder you the harder you flicker, the more paint you're gonna get on there. All right, I'll show you guys what I just did. Let's see right there. You can see the little stars at the bottom. Now you can even take a step further and grab your small brush, dip it on the white. Let me stand this up so you guys can see. Dip it in the white and then make even bigger stars by just pressing stars on your wood. And then just make sure you don't make a pattern when you do this, because stars, you know, like constellations and stuff, they're not patterns. They're just always kind of like weird, abstract looking. So just don't do a pattern. Make them like just very abstract. Jump from one side to the other to avoid the pattern. Because if you stay in one little area and work and make them in one area, the mind just automatically the brain just wants to make patterns because we're used to patterns everywhere, you know? So just bring your stars, jump from one side, intentionally jump from one side to the other. That way you don't have a pattern. So you can make as many of those as you would like. Now, another little bright star you can do, it's a big bright star, is you can take whichever one of those that you just made and turn it into a shining star by using your small brush. And then, for example, I'm going to take this one up here and I'm going to make right over it, I'm going to make a line like this. And then I'm going to make a line on the middle of it, but it's going to go horizontally. So essentially I made a plus sign. You see that? And then over the plus sign, I'm going to make an X, a short X, a small X. Just like this. And that's a nice shining star, right? So you can make as many of those as you would like. I recommend about three or four at the most. You don't want to make too many. And then you can make these as big as you want. Make sure you make some of them big and some of them small. Just like this. I'll make another one down here. Made a little oopsie here. There we go. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to let this dry. While I let it dry, I'm just going to put it here off to the side. And I'm not too happy with this stars. Do you guys like the stars? The big stars that I made at the end? They look a little funky. I might take them off. I don't know. Okay, so I don't have any red here with me because I wasn't prepared for that, but I'm going to go get it real quick. So you guys hang on tight. Okay, so I have this fire red, which is just a regular red. And I'm going to pour just a little. Actually, I'm not even going to pour any because this pouring thing always takes forever. I mean, not takes forever, but it pours a bunch. And since I only need a little bit, I'm just going to grab it from the lid. when you're painting the rows, you want to make sure you also paint the sides, right? Just like this. Okay? So then I'm going to close this off. And even though they are, Jack and Sally are just silhouettes, we are going to add some cute little white highlights around them. These highlights are going to make them pop. Okay? So I'm going to put both of them here on my easel. Well, I'll do one by one because it's overlapping. I want to put it right here. And I'm just going to grab my small brush and white and then just do small highlights. So I'll start right here around Jack's head. And I'm just going to follow his shape. And then just go up with the highlights all the way around him. You want to stay on the edge as much as you can, okay? So I'm just going to go all the way around his body. You don't want to add a bunch of white to this step because they're just cute little highlights. But you do want to follow the shape. Whatever the stroke you do, make sure it's the same shape as where you are stroking. So like on the head, you want to keep it circular. On the neck, you want to keep it nice straight. On the arm, you want to just make it a little wavy right here where the arm waves. Okay? You see how that makes him, let me get him closer. That makes him stand out a lot. You see that? Right here. Okay, so then a little bit here on the fingers. And then I think a little bit more on the forehead. Right up here. A little more here. All right, so that's pretty good. And then next, it's her turn. Same thing, grab small brush and color white. Make sure you don't have a bunch of white on your brush. You just want a little bit. You're going to take it all the way around her forehead, her face, her cheek, her hair. You're going to go, oh, oops, a little too much white. You see what happens when you have too much white? It blobs. You don't want it to blob. And then some highlights here on the flower, on the stem, on the fingertips, on the knuckles, her chest, her neck. The stem, we're going to make one little highlight all the way down. And then her waist. All right. Now I plugged in my hot glue gun, so she should be ready to go. I plugged in a while ago, so let me put this easel back there. And now this guy should be dry so that we can go ahead. How should I do it? Should I do it like this, you guys? Or Deanna said, when painting at home, I almost never pour it. I use what's in the lid too. That's a good idea. Sorry, guys. And then Susan said, this will be so popular. I know. I was so excited. Susan, we've done canvas ones where it's a couples ones. It divides Jack and Sally, and they always sell out. This time I thought I'd try something different and then, you know, just make it a little different. And these two are going to go right on there. Okay. So, um, how do I want to, I think I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to lay it flat, you guys, because I want to have a nice view, you know, because if I do it like this so you guys can see better, I won't see better. And I'm afraid I'm going to have it crooked, right? So I'm going to lay it flat. And then once I'm done with it, I'll lift it up so you guys can see. Okay, so Jack, you will see that his arm is cut off right here. So that means he's going to be all the way off to the side, right? So you want to just place him all the way off to the end. And then her, doesn't really matter where you know, just wherever you want. As close to him as possible. Oops. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. I'm having some issues here. One second, you guys. I need another baby wipe. She was still wet, and it's painting my moon. That's something that you, when you teach this class, you want to make sure you blow dry them before you bring them onto your moon. So blow dry them before you bring them onto your moon, so that you don't get any paint on your moon, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and do him first. And I have my hot glue gun right here. You can use any kind of glue. I don't even know how this is going to work. I just thought I'd try this. But you can use any kind of wood glue will work for this. Look, he made a mess here too. But I guess I had him in the right spot. Whatever I have to fix, I'll fix it later. That's learn from my mistakes, you guys. Make sure that your figurines are nicely dried before you apply them onto your background. Otherwise, you guys can't really see, but I have a little mess right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go and just add real quickly. I'm gonna add the wood. You have to act quickly on this one because the wood glue dries real quick, right? So I would keep it in the center. Don't use the wood on the edges because the wood tends to what do you call it? Tends to expand as you put it down. So you don't want to see the wood glue on. All right, that's good. Check it out. Check it out. Isn't that cool, you guys? Okay. So if you think he's too dark down here, just add a little more light blue. I think it's pretty good. All right, and then what we'll do is wipe this off right here because he did stain my moon. I might just have to repaint it real quick because I'm making it worse. Let me just repaint it. I'm just grabbing a little bit of white and yellow and then just paint over that area. There you go. Like it never happened. Okay, so next I'm going to do her. And I'm going to grab my hot glue gun. And again, keep the glue towards the center of your design. That way you don't see any glue on the outer parts of them, right? So act quickly, find your place. Make sure it's all the way at the bottom and pan. All right. And look at this. Isn't that cute, you guys? That's going to be a popular one. Maybe bring her a little more in, so she's more on the moon side. But what do you guys think? Is it too dark at the bottom? Do you think I should have made it a little lighter? Maybe this light blue all the way throughout, right? Maybe for the next time. When you guys, if you're a Paint Party Rockstar member, what I can do for the photo, I can just line down the background with Photoshop. So that way, when you guys present it to your audience, it'll be lighter. Okay, so so then we have the font. I might just go without the font. What do you guys think? Simply meant to be. Do you think the font adds or not? Susan said, this looks awesome. Thank you, Susan. Do you guys think the font adds or takes away? I don't know. I just don't really like the font. Simply meant to be. And I could just keep messing up my moon. Gotta be careful with that moon. I think I'm gonna leave it without the font. I don't know. One second. I'm gonna get more hot glue gun or a stick because I ran out. I think I am gonna add it, you guys. I'm gonna add the font. Whatever. You know what? I might add the font with like a metallic or something, which is something that I'll have to do off camera because I don't have the metallics ready. So I'll go simply meant to be. And that, the thing I'm more afraid of is having it crooked. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna lay it back down. Susan likes it clean. I think so too, Susan. Without it, right? Just font is just kind of funky. It would look like this. Yeah, it kind of looks messy. You're right, Susan. I'm going to take your advice. But yeah, you guys, this is it. You can get real creative with your Jack and Sally. You can add glitter to them if you want, if you like to, you know, spruce it up a little bit so that they pop. But I think it's pretty good. It's a really good size. It's a 12 by 12. So as soon as I am done with this, either today or tomorrow, if you guys are in the Paint Party Rockstar membership, I'm going to have some pictures and a flyer so you guys can promote this for your events. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you are in Mishawaka or Indiana and your local audience of Gallery 2910, thank you guys for watching. If you've been to our Jack and Sally Couples Night, go ahead and leave me a comment if you want to be part of this new adventure. This is going to be a new addition to your Nightmare Before Christmas obsession, because a lot of people are not just into it, they are obsessed with this movie. So it's one of those movies, right, that it really gets you. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to end it up right here, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.